Well, first thing I saw, we were meeting our, it was pretty neat. Our staff was able to get back late Friday night so we could work on our opponent all throughout the morning and in the afternoon. So the first game I saw was my son's flag game. He did a pretty decent job. Got to get his hands inside. Got called for a penalty, but we've addressed that at home. Aside from that, when we did get home, I did get home, got all those. I don't know whatever that button is that record DVR, that technology, whatever. But anyways, I got to see replay all the Pac games, and I got to see a bunch of them. And I think what stands out is the competitive nature of the Pac-12 is incredible. I just think you see it's anybody's conference. I mean, the league is wide open, and you see just monster plays being made in all phases by every opponent at some point in time or the other. So I think that was exciting to see. That gets our players fired up. Again, being part of the conference is an honor, but certainly got to watch a lot of the UCLA Washington game, which when we get here, when it's in our system, it's better film, but got to see a lot of things that we kind of knew and confirmed, some of those things and watching that, and at the same time saw some other things that really stood out. So we feel like we prepared well, and we'll be ready for Saturday.
Last week you said Austin and Breland and a couple other guys were nursing some injuries and you'd give them some rest. How are you feeling health-wise going into this game?
I feel good, and even surprisingly ahead of schedule is Braxton Burmeister. He moved around yesterday pretty well. Excuse me. So we feel good about him potentially being full go as early as tomorrow, which would be great. But Austin is good to go. Jake has been, Breland has been really good. Felix should be back, if not tomorrow, by Wednesday, so we feel good about him as well. CJ's been fine. Don't know if I'm missing anybody else in there, but I think that sums it up. We feel good about our health. With the bye week has helped out. I mean, we banged it up pretty good too, though. We practiced hard. We took some of the physical part of practice away from the guys that have logged a lot of reps, but we also didn't remove that completely. They did get their physical work good on good, making sure that technique and fundamentals were at the forefront of everything, and that we were playing and elevating our level of effort, as it relates to everything that we do. So, but we feel like the bye week, it certainly helped. It came at the right time.
This is along the same lines, but I think you said you're going to give some of the second and third team guys maybe some more reps. How did you see those guys handle the expanded roles this week in practice?
I think it went great. It's like you wish you had more practice time throughout the course of the day and the year to see that. And that's why we use Fridays like we do. On Fridays, we actually have scrimmages, the guys that are on the third team that aren't part of the travel squad. And a couple guys that are part of the travel squad, but we don't expect to see much action or extensive action. We have those guys actually run 24 live plays so we could keep developing those guys. And you think about it, 24, 12 times a year, that adds to a lot of extra plays, a lot of extra development. So we have seen some really good things show from a couple guys. One thing that stands out, a guy like Stephen Jones, I mean, it really showed that he's improving. A guy that has walked on for us, Justin Collins, is a guy that showed some good burst and some really good ball skills. We expect him to do some things. Samson continues to develop as a really good linebacker. Showed that not only can he contribute on special teams, but he could get downhill as a linebacker and stop the run, and did a really good job in pass coverage as well. So there's a good number of guys, I'd say a half dozen, maybe 8 or so, that showed that they're going to be factors as we go deeper into the season.
Creating pressure on any quarterback is always a key, Mario, but clearly this season Browning has struggled against a lot of pressure, particularly in that opener against Auburn. I believe also against Utah he did as well. Obviously it's important, so I'd say how key is it, or without giving away, how do you try to create that pressure, or even disguise creating the pressure in order to put him in the spots where he's going to be less successful?
Sure, you want the game plan, don't you? Okay. Well, the first thing, he's pretty good under pressure now, and we've seen that. I've seen him up close and personal a couple years ago, in the college football playoff. But I think what stands out is they're different from a protection standpoint now than they were in game one. Okay, now you'll see their tight ends do a heck of a job. They're some of the most versatile players on their team. They're good in the run game, they're good in the pass game, and they're also really good as blockers, not only in the run game but in protection. So they'll shore that thing up, and they'll create 7- and 8-man protections to let these guys run down the field and throw up some shots. So the Auburn defensive line is very impressive. As you know, they've got some guys on there that are going to be playing on Sundays, and But even with that, they had their moments, and if not for some red zone issues, that game could have gone the other way. So, but I think with what we do right now defensively, and the caliber of play of their guys up front, they understand the importance of making sure that that pocket is uncomfortable. And I think anyone that plays a quarterback like him has to keep that in mind. It has to be a major part of the game plan, because if he's comfortable back there and has a lot of time, well, it makes for a really tough day for the secondary. So certainly a huge factor in our preparation.
Mario, this series has been pretty lopsided in recent years. The last couple have been in Washington's favor. What kind of sense do you get from fans and just people in the community in terms of what this game means to them, and how important is it to you to make this a competitive series?
Well, it's as important as it gets. I mean, I think it's no secret that Autzen is going to be quite a scene on Saturday, and it's obviously it provides such an advantage for us, when Autzen comes to life like it does on game day. So intensity of a rivalry like this is through the roof. It's off the charts. You could talk about it, write about it, explain it, and it still doesn't capture the true fire, intensity, the true just passion that goes behind something like this. Our players understand it, and our players have seen, and they know the history of the series. They understand how, the best word to put it, let's use the word passionate, how passionate both fan bases are about this thing, and it's critically important for both programs involved. So we understand that. We also understand the importance of making sure that we attack practice and preparation with passion and not emotion, right? Because you have to make sure that at the end of the day, after that first series or so, a lot of that emotional stuff kind of withers away, and then you're playing on your preparation. You're playing with the passion you have for the game and for your teammates, and your desire to do better than your opponent. So those are critical factors that we understand, and those are critical factors that we focus on. So I think a combination of both those things provide the right recipe that you need to be successful on Saturday.